Men, have you become her male girlfriend? Have you gone from being her Don to her Donna? How could she change how she feels about you from just a week ago? Most men respond to this by leaning in. They try harder. They text more. They basically nice guy themselves right into a coffin. I'm going to give you some typical things men do wrong that get them in the friend zone or make her uninterested altogether. I'm also going to show you how she thinks so you'll know the reasons why these things turned her off in the first place. We're going to establish a game plan to get you back on track and draw her interest again. At the end of the day, she's a human being and we live in this reality. So if you're looking for fairy dust or some easy magical lever to pull to automatically make her fall in love with you again, you're not going to find that. But what we can do is change what you did to turn her off and absolutely give you the best odds of turning the tables, changing how she thinks of you, and get her chasing you instead. And if you're wondering what qualifies me to help you out, it's because I've been a total idiot in my life. Some people learn from taking classes or watching other people's mistakes so they don't make the same ones. Me? Nope. I have a certification in diving headfirst into the dumbest actions you can take with women and reaching rock bottom. Eventually, I scratched and clawed my way out of the doo-doo and finally learned some things along the way. But enough about me, let's jump in. Alright guys, I broke things down into 3 easy categories here. The first one's going to be the diagnosis. What were the things that we did that turned her off? What were the things that made her run for the hills? So that's going to be first. Second is going to be the female wiring. Why does she look at these things and they don't work for her? Why are these things bad? Okay, it's going to show you how she perceives things. And the third is going to be the turnaround, our solutions. What we're going to do instead. I'm going to try to break this down as simple and easy as possible. I'm not going to try to load you up here. Let's get into it. All right, first on the list of the diagnosis, the things we're doing wrong is the approval seeker. This is you texting her good morning and hope you're having a good day every day. This can also come in the form of over complimenting her, rolling out the red carpet, agreeing with everything she says, even when it's not what you think. These kinds of things let her know exactly where she stands with you. She knows she has you in the palm of her hands, like the glove of Thanos. All she's got to do is snap her fingers, and boom, you're gay. Women typically have much better intuitions than men and can see way more clearly how much you like her than you think. Even though Hollywood tries to tell you that guys that go above and beyond to get the girl's approval win her over in the end, I think you know that this hasn't added up with what you've seen in real life, okay? And certainly not in your direct experience. Number 2 on the list is going to be the emotional dumpster. Listening to her talk about other guys or drama in her life for hours. You know you're not interested in what she's telling you. Those stories are boring. You'd rather be in the gym. You'd rather be golfing, hanging with your buddies, starting your side business, watching paint dry. You'd also like to be going on dates in person with her, but you push through the texting and emotional support from a distance, thinking that if you just stick it out and hear her ramble, that it's going to make her attracted and trust you more. You think it's going to win points with her, so you grind it out, even if the conversation topic is about other men. Now, you would think it's obvious that if she's talking to you about the cute guy at the gym, you're just a pen pal, but some guys have this delusion that if they just stick it out and they hear her talk about him, that eventually she's just going to wake up one day and realize her Romeo has been there all along. You aren't the guy she wants to date with. You're the guy she wants to go shopping with. All right, third thing on the list is going to be the safe option. All right, being available 24/7 around the clock. I guess 24/7 means around the clock, but you get what I mean. Doesn't matter what you have going on. If she texts or calls because she wants to get together spontaneously, it's happening. It doesn't matter if you're at your dad's funeral. Dad's gonna have to bury himself. Brittany called. It doesn't really occur to you that she only calls when she's absolutely bored. All her friends are out of town and you were like option 5. You brush those things off as silly details, probably because it hurts to think about, and it doesn't really match the love story you have going on in your head about the two of you. Your buddies probably all roll their eyes when they see her name on your phone screen. Not because they all got together and decided to start hating the woman that you like, but because of how you handle yourself when she enters the picture. That cool guy they all know with principles and a life just disappears the moment she wants some validation or a trip to the mall. Again, please know that I'm able to list these symptoms because I've been that guy. All right, head over heels for a girl and totally lost my head and my center. I've been right where you are, wondering, how did I lose her? And later seeing all the self-sabotaging I did. All right, so I don't say any of this from a perspective of talking down to you. No matter what you've done, I've probably been a much bigger idiot in my life, all right? So moving on. Next section here, the female wiring and why it is she sees these things as bad, okay? And we're gonna start number one with their need for mystery. In 2011, researchers from Virginia and Harvard did a psychological study that showed women are way more attracted to men whose feelings for them are unclear. This uncertainty causes women to dwell on the man and increases attraction. In other words, women need a little mystery in a man to truly be excited about him. Is he really into me? Is he talking to other women? What does the rest of his life look like without me? You thought you were drawing her closer by always being available and showing her how interested you were. But actually, you were ruining the movie. Imagine you sit down to watch The Sixth Sense for the first time, and your buddy walks by during the first scene and just tells you he's dead the whole time. You're not going to be motivated to watch the rest of the movie, and neither is she. All right, number two on our list is tension keeps interest high. Okay, women don't lose interest because you're a good person. They lose interest because tension died. I think a lot of guys think you have to be a jerk in order to be an alpha to then attract a woman. These guys have no clue what an alpha is. In fact, they're just doing their best impressions of what an alpha is. Being an alpha simply means owning yourself. It means you don't require the opinions of other people to operate in life. He's assured or confident in what he's doing or the direction he's going in because it's what he believes or wants. He's almost always in his center, and he's not emotionally altered the minute circumstances change because he believes in his own ability to change those circumstances back to where he wants them to go. That's it. And obviously those are attractive qualities. They're the same qualities you've seen in every cool superhero you want to be like. That's what Iron Man is. That's what Thor is before he got fat. And here's where we tie it into the first one we mentioned here, the need for mystery. Because you aren't drooling over her and you're assured of your ability to replace her, you aren't making it obvious how you feel about her. You can still be a good person and have self-respect at the same time. All right, number three on the list is feminine energy needs to open up to a masculine leader. A healthy-minded woman who's comfortable in her feminine is looking for a man she can submit to and trust to lead her. Feminine energy is naturally suited for submission, and masculine energy is geared towards leadership. This isn't Andrew Tate talk. This isn't fresh and fit. This is just our natural wiring and the way we were created by God. There can only be one leader, plain and simple. Even blue-haired people recognize this in every other area of life. We all recognize that we have to have leaders in work environments, sports teams, military, governance, etc. But for some reason, when it comes to romantic relationships, people get offended and lose their minds. Don't worry about this new wave thinking. A healthy, beautiful woman with options won't respond romantically to a man that follows her, even if she says she would. So number three on the list, feminine energy needs to open up to a masculine leader. Kind of takes care of all three of these, but really attacks this one, the approval seeker. It's basically impossible to be a masculine leader and be the approval seeker at the same time. All right, number four on the list, there's no attraction for the male girlfriend. You become a mirror, not a mountain. This is something that's more obvious when you think about it logically, but it's easy to forget when you're crazy about a woman. Think about what couples do and about what friends do. They're very different. And anyone who tells you otherwise is probably lying to themselves. There is not a bone in your body that wants to lean over and start kissing your buddy Patrick when you two are playing couch co-op video games together. Why? Because you're wired the same way. You're both dudes. It's not even like as if enough time goes by that this will even start to be a temptation. But somehow we get this twisted with women. We think if we just spend enough time with her, that romance will just automatically happen. But if you throw away your masculinity and you start being the agreeable, domesticated guy that only exists for her and not with her, How could she think of you any differently than you think of the friend you play video games with? All right, now we're going to go to our last section, the turnaround, the solutions to these things. We've learned what we're doing wrong, how she perceives them, and what we're going to do different. And I feel like you can do these things with a better understanding. You know how she's geared, you know what she's looking for. These things should just fall into place to what she views, okay? Not that we conform to her, but that we become our natural masculine selves, which will attract her natural feminine self, all right? So number one, we're going to start with stop initiating. Absolutely 100% under no circumstances do you continue to initiate contact with her, okay? We already established earlier that she needs to feel a sense of mystery with you. She needs to be wondering, is he thinking of me? Is there someone else in the picture? What's going on? And if she wasn't thinking that before, this can maybe start to get those thoughts going, okay? Like, he was reaching out to me like every other day. She was getting that validation. Wasn't even that big of a deal to her. But now that she's not getting it, it might. Okay, and it probably will be. All right, number 2 on the list is no long texts. If she calls or texts you to ramble about the drama or ongoings of her life, you don't be a jerk. You tell her it's exciting to see her name on your screen, but that you have a lot going on and you'd rather hear about it when you can give her your full attention in person. This lets her know you have a life, you do still care, but if she wants access to you, she's gonna have to do something romantic with you and go on a date. All right, number 3, the phone is a doorway, not a couch. When she does reach out to you, and only when she reaches out to you first, you take that opportunity to set up the next date, and that's it. Only ever use the phone to set up dates. Not talking, not texting, not going on, just to set up the next date. And when you're setting up the date, if she gives you a maybe or a we'll see, don't settle for that. Tell her to cancel it and tell her to get back to you when she knows a definite date. Tell her you have a lot going on and you'd rather not plan around a maybe. If she wasn't respecting you before, she's starting to now. Number 4 is remain a mystery. All right. I know we keep mentioning that because it's kind of important. Okay. And part of this is already accomplished by the first thing we already went over. Stop initiating. Just by you not reaching out to her a lot and blowing up her phone, she's going to naturally wonder what you're up to. And that's going to be the first part of being more mysterious. But the second part of that is just simply when you're on a date, allowing her to do most of the talking. When she asks about you, be real brief, be short, and then get right back to the topic of her. People love to talk about themselves, so keep feeding her questions. She's going to love doing this anyway. It's going to make her feel heard. It's going to make her feel more comfortable with you, but you got to listen carefully to the things that she tells you. This is going to tell you what to ask her next, and it's going to allow conversation to really flow. Don't just be thinking, like preloading the next thing you want to say to her. But whatever, that's a little off track. But that's the second part to remaining a mystery. At the end of the night, she's going to realize she didn't really learn anything about you. She's going to realize we just talked about me the whole night. And that's a good thing. You want her to try to figure it out. Women want to figure you out piece by piece. They want to put the puzzle pieces together. It's like we mentioned earlier, it's like a movie you're watching and you're trying to figure out the end. It kind of ruins it all if she knows all the answers right away. We may not need that as men, but they do. They like that. So allow her to think about this. This will have her anticipating the next date with you. That's a great thing. Number 5 is stay in your center. If you've done all of these things right to this point, congratulations, you've sparked her interest. And now she's going to want to see if you're the real deal, especially if you displayed weak behavior in the past. She's going to want to know how you just quickly became a man. Every woman will eventually test you, and they usually do it pretty quickly. They want to see what's under the hood. There's quite a few tests she can throw at you, and I'll go more in depth on those in another video. But some of those include intentionally disagreeing with you to see if you conform to her opinion, talking about other men in her orbit to see if you feel threatened or insecure, making fun of you to see if you could take a joke, or just the most common one is just stop reaching out to you as much, or gives you like one-word texts to see how you take it. In all of these instances, she's wanting to find out about the same thing. Is he centered? She wants a man who's emotionally unaffected by her introducing a little chaos. So stay calm no matter what. It doesn't mean you're a robot with no emotions. It just means your outlook and your disposition are grounded in what you do, your ability, not what she does. She doesn't determine your mood. If she disagrees with you, to each their own. If she cancels a date with you, no sweat, see you around. When you aren't rattled and you pass the test, she knows she has something she doesn't want to lose. In conclusion, I gotta tell you guys, you can't just fake not caring. You actually have to have a life that's more interesting than her texts. If you feel like you don't have much going on, the only way to really get momentum is to get up and go. Go talk to 5 strangers today to remember you have options. Go get in the gym. Go start that business you've been thinking of for forever. If you're currently in the friend zone and you're struggling to dig your way out, even though maybe you've tried some of this, or you're struggling to get to her porch for a second date, then book a call in the link below. I'm a dating and relationship coach for men, and I also work with men that have been in relationships for years. There's a variety of options from one-time calls to continued coaching, all in the same link. I'll see you in the next one.